The DJI Spark is DJI's most affordable drone, costing around £500. It's also the smallest and lightest drone they have ever made. This video is not a review, but more of me sharing my experience of using the Spark itself, as this is the first drone I have ever used. The DJI Spark is small and portable, weighing in at 300 grams with a plastic outer shell to keep it light and protected. The drone body itself has a footprint no larger than a smartphone, but the propellers are fixed into place and cannot be folded, unlike the Mavic Air, so it is a bit bigger than that. And the Mavic Air actually ends up being smaller than the Spark when the propellers are folded in. The Spark is also fitted with a bunch of obstacle avoidance tech to help you keep your drone in the air safely. On the front of the drone you'll find a 3D sensing system which uses infrared to scan and avoid obstacles in front of the drone, and there's also a vision system on the bottom of the Spark which helps to keep the drone in its position and also allows it to hover indoors where you can't catch a GPS signal. You'll also find the battery on the bottom which will let you fly for around 15 minutes, but the battery is removable and has a built-in indicator LED so you can see how charged the battery is, and there's also rubber feet on the bottom to stop the drone sliding around when it's on a surface. On the front of the drone is the camera, but I will be talking about that later. Flying the drone is pretty simple once you've got used to the controls. I flew it with the controller most of the time, but you don't need to have the controller to start flying, although I'd recommend that you do pick one up. The drone has a couple of modes, a normal mode and a sport mode. I flew in normal mode for most of the time, but I did try out sport mode a few times too. It flies pretty fast with a top speed of 31 miles per hour, and the drone held up pretty well in windy conditions, which I was quite surprised by. But if it is windy, you want to make sure that you're flying in an open area. Range is also something to be considered, so this is where the controller really comes into play. I found that I could fly the drone around 600 feet, which is just under 200 meters, before losing signal, but obviously that can vary depending on the environment that you're flying in. If you do lose signal, like I did once, the drone will automatically use the return to home function and start flying back to where you took off from, so then you can pick up the signal again. The Spark also has a few tracking modes which can track an object, but one of the more interesting things was gesture control. All you have to do is hold the drone in the palm of your hand and then press the power button twice once you've turned it on. It will take off and then you can use your hand to move the drone, and it's quite cool to play around with, but I did have to move my hand very slowly or it would lose track of where my hand was. The DJI Go app is the main control hub for the drone. It allows you to configure settings for both the drone itself and the controller, but most importantly it allows you to see the camera feed from the drone in real time, which I think is essential. Personally, I think the best way to fly the Spark is with the controller, as it gives you a simple and well-designed way to control the drone and also the camera. The controller features two joysticks, one for moving the drone upwards, downwards and rotating left and right, and the other is for moving left, right, forward and backwards. On the front of the controller you also have easy access to the return to home button, emergency brake and a custom function button, and there's also a switch that lets you change into that sports mode if you want to pick up speed. The back of the controller is essentially for controlling the camera. There are buttons for changing between the photo and video modes, and it also has tilt controls, but that's about it for the controller. There's also a place to put your phone so you can get a live feed of the camera, and there's also a micro USB port if you don't want to connect to the controller over Wi-Fi. Now, the camera. Probably one of the most important things for a drone, so you can get some nice photos for Instagram, or you can make your YouTube drone montage. Camera on the DJI Spark carries a 12 megapixel sensor that shoots up to 1080p video at 30 frames a second with a bitrate of 24 megabits per second. Bitrate is quite important because that means that for each frame of the footage it will definitely be sharp and there will be no pixelation or distortion. The camera quality overall is impressive for how small this drone is, and I found that footage looked best on days where there was blue sky with a few clouds in the sky, as when it was overcast the camera struggled to handle the dynamic range from the bright white sky, but otherwise I'm very happy with it. The camera captures plenty of detail for both photo and video, and with a little editing of the photos you can make them look really great. If you're looking for a drone on the market and don't have an enormous amount to spend, because let's be honest, drones can get quite expensive, I think the Spark is a great option, especially as a first drone. It's small and portable and still gives you great results. I would highly recommend picking up the Fly More bundle if you want to actually get started with the Spark, because it includes multiple batteries and stuff like that, but I will leave links to both the bundle and the drone itself in the description. But that's been it for this video. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.